There are many questions being asked in New York and New Jersey today. What prompted Ahmad Khan Rahami to plant multiple bombs, and was he a lone wolf or part of a larger conspiracy? So far, Rahami isn't providing any answers. The naturalized citizen from Afghanistan is recovering from gunshot wounds after being apprehended yesterday. 3 acts of terrorism in the tri-state area and one in Minnesota over the weekend prompted a pivot in the presidential race as both candidates responded to an issue that is consistently ranked among the most important to voters. Here's what the candidates said about immigration policy in the wake of the attacks.
No one has a right to immigrate to this country. It is the job of a responsible government to admit only those who expect to succeed and flourish here. They have to love us.
We need a better visa system. Let's remember what happened on 9/11. These were not refugees who got into airplanes and attacked our city and our country. So let's not get diverted and distracted.
There's also been a difference in tone. Clinton falling back on policy expertise, Trump on emotion.
We should also launch an intelligence surge to help identify and thwart attacks before they can be carried out. We need to work more closely with Silicon Valley and other partners to counter terrorist propaganda and recruitment efforts online.
Today, we have caught this evil thug who planted the bombs. He will be given a fully modern and updated hospital room. And he'll probably even have room service, knowing the way our country is.
So how do voters feel about the candidates and terrorism? A CNN poll found 51% think Trump would do a better job compared to 45% who favor Clinton. One of the 3 topic areas for next Monday's highly, and I do mean highly anticipated debate, will be securing America. Joining me tonight, though, are Adam Riley, who reported for us just last week about where the candidates stand on counterterrorism measures. Good to see you, Adam. Professor Heather Cox Richardson, she's a presidential historian. Nice to see you. And Joseph Brown is a professor who specializes in terrorism. Joe, it's good to meet you, too. Let me start with you, Heather. Who's got the message that's best for November 8th? The guy who is talking tough, appealing to the gut, or the woman who is trying to appeal to the brain? Who's got the right message?
I don't think that this really is a pivot for Trump. I think he's doubling down on his dominance politics, what has worked for him so well, and it works in sound bites. It does not work well over the long haul.
What does that mean?
It means that it sounds really good. You can see numbers going up quickly immediately after something like this happens, but she is, after all, the Secretary of State who oversaw the taking of Osama bin Laden.
No, but I mean, I understand that's a rational analysis. What's the evidence that this tough-talking message, I'm going to bring back waterboarding, and this, talk, we're not going to give them free meals in the hospital. What's the evidence that support for that kind of tough message dissipates over time?
Well, the evidence comes from places, believe it or not, like Jane Goodall, like people like sociologists who study the way language works and the way society works, who say that kind of dominance language and dominance posturing works very well in a short period of time, but it doesn't have legs. There's nothing that sticks.
Only has to work 49 more days, Joe, for Donald Trump. You were nodding your head in agreement that it tends to disappear its value. You buying that notion?
Well, people make different types of decisions when they're feeling emotional versus when they've had time to reflect, and terrorism plays on emotions. So, of course, days after something like this happens, you can see different trends in the way people think because they feel differently, because they've just witnessed something really shocking and terrifying.
So if there's not another attack or another bombing, let's say in the next 49 days, then your view, I think you're saying, is that the talk tough message has less legs, fewer legs.
I think that it has legs like it did before the bombing. I think that you'll see it have a lot of legs right now, and if the news is quiet and there's less terrorism between now and Election Day, it will matter less and less the further away we get from today.
I mean, that seems to make sense, obviously. If it turns out we go through 49 days, we're just looking back at things that cause great fear in people, obviously there's less of an emotional reaction to an emotional appeal. So you buy that, I assume, yes?
I buy that, but on the other hand, I wouldn't, maybe it's just because I grew up in Minnesota, I'm especially interested in that incident, but there you have a case, much like in the New Jersey, New York situation, actually, where the perp came to the U.S. as a young man, was described as extremely assimilated. I think even more than the guy in New Jersey, an associate of his from the Somali community in Minnesota, said he was the most assimilated kid he knew. And you have this shift occurring where at some point they go from being an assimilated person who grew up here to someone who bears intense enmity toward the United States and wants to take it out violently. it was interesting. In the bites from Trump and Clinton that we heard, neither one of them was talking about this. Trump is talking about immigration. Clinton's talking about visas and 9/11.
By the way, he's
This
talking
is
about
something-
immigration.
cyber
He's talking about
warfare. And
immigration,
cyber
I should
warfare.
say, even though people like Omar Mateen in Orlando is a citizen, Rahami is
who
a
came
citizen.
here as a
Yeah,
little kid again.
Exactly. But go ahead.
And that's the thing I think neither one of them is really tackling in an emotionally or rationally satisfying way. How do you deal with the fact that there are some Muslims who grow up here, seem completely acclimated, and then something turns?
You're the presidential historian. See, my thesis, and I know nothing about history, I lived through part of it, but know nothing like you do, is on election day, we're not doing an intellectual analysis of the policy of the two candidates. Say, well, so she's got, maybe the experience matters, but here's her plan, here's his plan, his facts are phony, his facts are made up. I think people say, who can I see sitting there dealing with what happened in New York, New Jersey, and Minnesota?
That's really interesting because I think what you see here
Am
in
I
a
right, by the way?
microcosm. Yes, but I'm going to take it in a little bit different
Okay.
direction, as you know I do. I think what you see here is a microcosm of these two extraordinarily different candidates. You've got the dominant alpha male who is simply saying, I know how to fix this, give it to me. And you've got an older woman who's got the chops. She has done it. She's been there for Osama bin Laden. She's been Secretary of State. She's the one who put together the Iran agreement. She's the one who's talking about cyber warfare, which is so important.
You left one
this
thing
war.
out of Trump's message, and the woman on whose watch with Barack Obama all this is happening. So Donald Trump, will bring you a new day. I will not preside over this kind of terror
I'm talking
throughout.
about triumphs. I'm not talking about problems. I'm talking about things that she did that were terrific. And I think are generally looked at as being fairly terrific. She got Osama bin Laden. That's an ad waiting to
Two-thirds of
happen.
it. She got Osama bin
Not-
Laden?
Not personally, but she was part of that.
Can I,
she was the
can I-
Secretary of State
I'm
there.
totally sucking up to Jim here, but can I pile on it and point out that she was also Secretary of State when ISIS rose up out of nothing, this vacuum that we left in the Middle East. And I think one problem with reminding people of the good stuff is that it reminds people of the bad stuff.
To go back to the point that I was trying to make, and I'm willing to argue that one, what you're seeing here is this dominance politics versus a woman who's got the chops. And are people going to go for this woman who's got the experience, one of the most experienced leaders we've had looking at the presidency, or this guy who says, man, I can do it better? And what you have playing out
That
here
is the question for
is,
November 8th, is it not?
where is it going to go?
Can I talk about one
demographically?
other thing? I'm always wondering if surrogates matter, and I generally think they don't matter. However, this grotesquely offensive thing done by one of Donald Trump's favorite surrogates, that would be Donald Trump Jr., the Skittles thing. I assume most of you saw this tweet, but if you hadn't, here's the young Donald Trump. If I had a bowl of Skittles and I told you just 3 would kill you, would you take a handful? The image says it all. Let's end the politically correct agenda that doesn't put America first. It doesn't get, and by the way, the head of Skittles, whoever he is, says, you know, Skittles are candy. People who suffer here, I'm paraphrasing, are humans. Does anybody care about that, or is that just the sidebar for an hour? That put me totally over the edge.
Well, it's really troubling. It reminds me of anti-immigration posters from the late 19th and early 20th century, depicting boatloads of Italians with thick mustaches with the word mafia written on them, or depicting Irish immigrants as these sort of degenerate, drunk, poor people who are going to bring their Catholic religion.
Or like rapists coming across the southern border, right?
Or, yeah,
which got somebody the nomination to be the president of the United
And it
States.
fits with that, unfortunately, too. The sort of dehumanization of immigrants as something that's dangerous or polluting.
You know, I want to get back to
But people
your
have made fun of that.
What's that?
But people have made fun of that Skittles thing, and that's the sort of thing that will drive Donald Trump over the edge.
He doesn't like being ridiculed.
Does
Like he
not
was
like being
ridiculed by
ridiculed.
President Obama, the White House
Right.
press correspondent
Yeah,
years
which
ago.
may have
many
gotten us
people
here in
think
the-
caused
that's
him-
right.
You know, one of the things, getting back to your experience and this steady leadership, which is our theme, versus the get tough message. I understand Donald Trump saying things like, the terrorists are, and this is virtually a quote, terrorists are hoping and praying Hillary Clinton is president so they continue their savagery. But when Hillary Clinton plays the same game, and says things like, Trump is a recruiting sergeant for terrorists and he's giving aid and comfort to ISIS. Does that not bring her down to the level that you think is problematic? What are you looking at him for? I'm talking to you.
Because
I
he
took
looks
a
like he's...
big
Okay, you can go
I read a
first.
fascinating piece in Foreign Policy where they talked with people in ISIS who've been connected to ISIS and substantiated this notion that Trump is the guy ISIS wants, because he has this, he fosters
dividing the
the
world in
idea
two.
that the Muslim world can't coexist with the Western world, and some of them think that he could lead the U.S. into this
Yeah, but
apocalyptic
with all
battle
due
with Syria.
respect, you're falling prey to the same notion that people are sitting back, they have all their papers out in front of them in front of November 8th. Let's see what ISIS says in response to Hillary Clinton's charge.
Yeah, but
That's not how I think people make decisions on Election Day.
I personally find that argument of hers more credible than some other arguments she makes. So I'll hand it over to you
I
now.
think your point is that it's more credible. Yours is
My
that's not
point
why
is the
people
language.
vote that way.
No,
They
my
vote
point.
according to
No.
language.
My point is the language is Trumpian language coming out of the mouth of Hillary Clinton. How does that work?
Well, the difference is hers
expect
is
it from him.
fact-based.
Yeah.
that makes a big difference. Go
There
ahead.
is a big difference. If you read ISIS propaganda, if you have the stomach to read ISIS propaganda page by page, they put out quarterly magazines, they have Twitter feeds, they have videos. If you have enough stomach to get through all the beheadings, there are copious references to the upcoming Armageddon between the Crusader states and the faithful of the Islamic world. Anything you do that plays into that is empowering those people and those voices.
Can I tell you, all three of you have one thing in common. You think fact is going to be a huge
gonna matter.
determinant on November 8th.
Fair.
I hope you're right. Adam, it's great to see you.
Thanks, Jim.
Heather, you
Always a
as well.
pleasure.
And you, pleasure to meet you, Joe. Thanks so
Good to meet
much.
you.